I talk about Himalayas here, so you have Great Himalayas, Ladakh, कैलाश रेंज, तिब्बत, कुनलुन चान, ये नॉर्थ टू साउथ जा रहे हैं। सबसे पहले आपका टुवर्ड्स चाइना कुनलुन चान, तियान शान, उसके बाद यू हैव तिब्बत प्लेटू, इंटरमॉन्टेन प्लेटू, देन यू हैव काराकोरम लद्दाख, काला अजहर है ना, काराकोरम लद्दाख एंड ज़ास्कर। तो कैलाश रेंज, लद्दाख एंड ज़ास्कर, दीज आर पार्ट ऑफ योर ट्रांस हिमालयस। काराकोरम, लद्दाख एंड ज़ास्कर, दे आर पार्ट ऑफ ट्रांस हिमालयस। देन यू हैव योर ग्रेट Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks, and then you have your Indus and Gangetic Plain. So if I actually have to draw this, it's like this. So here you have Tibet here, you have Kinlin Shan, Tian Shan somewhere here, you have Karakoram, Ladakh, ज़ास्कर, you have Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Himalayas and Shivaliks. If you look at carefully this figure, you will see that the western side is much more broader. Western Himalayas is broader. Eastern Himalayas are crunched. They are narrower. Himalayas extend कैसे करते हैं? 3,200 किलोमीटर. It is 400 किलोमीटर here. It is 150 किलोमीटर here. तो width है 400 किलोमीटर यहाँ पे है. यहाँ पे जो width है just 150 किलोमीटर. I'm talking about width. Okay. Height तो आपकी 8 किलोमीटर, 6 किलोमीटर, 4 किलोमीटर्स। ओके, लेंथ की बात करते हैं, लेंथ इज अराउंड 3,200, so length is 3,200 kilometer, the width is 400 kilometer, width is 150 kilometer, the height is 8, 6 and 4 kilometer. Himalayas, you can say Himalayas has Trans Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, sorry, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. When I say Trans Himalayas, you have Karakoram, Ladakh and ज़ास्कर. ये किससे बने? They have been formed because of ocean-continent collision. India, while it was coming from the southern side and it collided with Eurasia, as it collided, it led to upliftment of the sediments. So, upliftment of the sediments, here you have been ocean-continent convergence. When India was uplifting, when these Karakoram, Ladakh, ज़ास्कर, ये ocean-continent convergence के कारण बने, तो क्या यहाँ पे volcanism रहा होगा? क्या यहाँ पे tectonic movement रहा होगा? So you could have seen volcanism, you would see tectonic movement. Okay, you would see volcanism, you would see tectonic movement. So some of the volcanic rocks are still preserved in Karakoram. The name Kara means black, black soil, black, not black cotton soil, but black colored soil. That is because of the remnants of the volcanic rocks. If I talk about Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks, they have been formed because of the CC collision, continent-continent collision. Tethys Sea is no longer there. This is formed because of the continent-continent collision. But still, despite this, there are many variations. There are many type of variations. What variations? I am moving on to Northern Mountain Complex. I am just giving you certain gist and then we will move on. So I said Northern Mountain Complex. Northern Mountain Complex includes this 1, 2, 3 and 4 Trans Himalayas. It includes Trans Himalayas, it includes Great Himalayas, it includes Middle Himalayas, it includes Shivaliks. If I talk about Trans Himalayas, they have been formed by OC convergence. This is formed because of CC convergence. This is formed because of CC. This is because of CC. Now, when I talk about Himalayas, they are formed by marine sediments. Even in the continent-continent collision, you can have marine sediments, oceanic sediments. So, Great Himalayas have been formed by the marine sediments. Ocean sediments were there, even if Tethys Sea is not there, ocean sediments are there, so marine sediments. Middle Himalayas is also formed because of marine sediments. Now, the marine sediments got over. Then what happened? Rivers sediments, the sediments of the rivers, they were uplifted to form the Shivaliks. So, Shivaliks are fluvial sediments. Shivaliks are fluvial sediments. They are not marine sediments, they are fluvial sediments. Fluvial means upliftment of the riverine sediments, sediments of the rivers. Okay. So, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. Is it fine? Now, let's understand this by a online class. Online class with me. Let's understand this with the help of this GIF. So India is coming from north. There is 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐭 collides, upliftment of Karakoram, Ladakh, 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐭. There is CC collision, upliftment of Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. Great Himalayas, they have marine sediments. Middle Himalayas, they have marine sediments, and Shivaliks, they have fluvial sediments, the sediments by the river, the sediments brought by the river. So let's start off with this, the Northern Mountain Complex. I'll just read it out for you. What is Northern Mountain Complex? They are series of parallel mountain ranges. As you can see, parallel mountain ranges are there. You have Karakoram, you have Ladakh, you have 𝐂𝐳𝐧𝐶𝐭, you have Great Himalayas, you have Shivaliks, you have Middle Himalayas. Okay, so there are series of the mountain ranges. Here you have, this is the knot, Pamir knot. What is knot? Knot basically is a landform जहाँ से काफी सारी ranges आती हैं. A knot is basically the ranges, from where the ranges are emerging. From Pamir knot you have Hindu Kush. From Pamir knot you have 𝐸𝐻, you have Suleiman, you have Kunlun Shan, you have Tian Shan, you have Karakoram, Ladakh, 𝐂𝐳𝐧𝐶𝐭, Great Himalayas. So all of them are coming from knot. What is a knot? A place from where many ranges they emerge. What ranges are emerging from Pamir knot? Hindu Kush. What ranges? 𝐸𝐻 range of Pakistan. Suleiman. You have what? Kunlun Shan of China. You have Tian Shan, again in China. So Tian Shan, Kunlun Shan, the various ranges, and also Himalayas. So this is where you can see series of the parallel ranges. So there are series of parallel ranges. These Himalayas are weak in nature. Obviously, they are made up of what? Soft sedimentary rocks. So they are weak in nature. They are not hard. They are made up of soft sedimentary rocks. Soft rock, sedimentary rocks. These Himalayas are young in nature, recently formed Tertiary time period, and therefore they are flexible. Unlike, they are young, they are flexible, they are weak. Unlike what? Unlike the peninsular blocks. How have they been formed? They have been formed because of tectonic origin, because of the collision of Indian plate with the Eurasian. Indian plate with the Eurasian plate collided, you have Himalayas. What is the length? I said 3,200, no, it is 2,500. 2,500 kilometer east to west is the length of Himalayas. What is the width? 160 to 400 north and south. That I said correct. वो सही याद था. ठीक है. 150 to 400 kilometers. 150 or 160 here in the eastern side and 400 in the western side. 400 in the western side. We saw the western Himalayas. Also look at the eastern Himalayas. You will see Nepal. You will see here in the, not Himalayas, but yes, towards the eastern side also. Towards the eastern side also you have these, right? What do you have? Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga. You see in Bhutan. You see Dafla, Abhor, Ishmi. Dafla के बाद Miri है. Dafla के बाद you have Miri. To the right of Miri you have Abhor, and further to the right you have Ishmi. So what do you have? Dafla, DM बनना है. Dafla Miri. तो AM पे उठो. Not PM. Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Dafla, west to east. Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. All of them are where? All of them are in Arunachal Pradesh. All of them are in Arunachal Pradesh. DM, AM. Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Right? Then you have towards this also you have some of the ranges. We don't call them as completely Himalayas. We call them as Purvanchal. Pur means east, Anchal, both. Purvanchal. What are Purvanchal ranges? Patkai, you have Naga, you have Mizo hills. Patkai hills, Naga hills, Mizo hills. Then Arkanuma is also considered an extension. So you can see you have, okay. Is the board not responding? In any case, you have this. You can see the peaks. The peaks are Mount Everest, Makalu. You have Kanchenjunga. नहीं होगा, ठीक, fine. You have Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga. You have Patkai, ठीक है, Patkai Bum, Naga. You also should have Manipur hills, Manipuri hills and Mizo hills. You have Arunachal Pradesh, you have Patkai. In Nagaland you have Naga. In Manipur you have Manipuri. In Mizoram you have Mizo hills. So all these four are what? All these four are Purvanchal. The hills of Arunachal Pradesh, Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. They are what? They are the part of Himalayas. Okay, Himalayas are, you can see very well Himalaya segregation. Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivalik range in the western side. But I do not have as much of segregated range on the eastern side. On the eastern side, they are mixed. They are crunched into one another. They are crunched, they are mixed. But on the western side, they are well segregated. On the western side, they are well segregated. Is it fine? Just to give you an idea of Himalayas. What are Himalayas? Weak, young, flexible, sedimentary, uplifted, fold mountains. Weak sediments, young rocks, sedimentary, uplifted, fold mountains. They are tertiary in nature. They are different width on the western side. They have different width on the eastern side. Can I move on? Okay. Now here. So there are, if I give you a detailed account, there are series of ranges. There are series of ranges. We've discussed most of them. There are series of ranges like you have first one, Trans-Himalayas. Trans-Himalayas are Karakoram, Ladakh and Zanskar. They have been formed because of upliftment of Tethys Sea sediments. That is because of ocean continent collision. This is Trans-Himalayas. If I talk about Great Himalayas, Great Himalayas is a continuous range. It extends from Kashmir. It extends from Kashmir. It goes through Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, goes to Nepal. From Nepal, it moves towards Sikkim, to Bhutan, to Arunachal Pradesh. It is not a discontinuous range. So here also in my diagram, you will see I will generally draw Himalayas as continuous range, Great Himalayas. But you will see that Middle Himalayas, I will draw discontinuous range. Middle Himalayas are not continuous. It is not as continuous as Himalayas. If this is your Himalayas, if this is the Himalayas, Middle Himalayas is discontinuous. Shivaliks are again continuous. Okay? So Great Himalayas are continuous range. Middle Himalayas are discontinuous range. Middle Himalayas, they are discontinuous range. Okay, and these are continuous. So Great Himalayas continuous range, CC collision formed by the upliftment of marine sediments. Marine sediments have got sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. What do they have? They have sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rock, marine origin, CC collision, continuous in nature. If I talk about Middle Himalayas, again because of CC collision, Tethys Sea to bacha nahi, there is no more Tethys Sea. That is because of CC collision. It is formed because of upliftment of marine sediments, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. But they are broken ranges and therefore they are known differently in different places. Broken hai, they are known as Pir Panjal in Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. It is known as Pir Panjal in Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. It is known as Mussoorie in Uttarakhand. It is known as Nag Tibba in Uttarakhand. It is also known as Garhwal in Uttarakhand. So, जो broken ranges है Mussoorie, Nag Tibba, Garhwal in Uttarakhand. It is known as Dhauladhar in Himachal Pradesh, and it is known as Pir Panjal in Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir. हाँ हिल भी है, हाँ हिल भी है, मतलब छोटी सी लोकल हिल्स को भी बोलते हैं नाग टिब्बा. Lesser Himalayas are middle Himalayas. Middle Himalayas are known as lesser Himalayas. Shivaliks are known as outer Himalayas. Middle Himalayas are also known as lesser Himalayas. छोटे हैं हाइट में, lesser Himalayas. And Shivalik is your outer Himalayas. Okay. Shivalik is outer. Shivalik किससे बना है? CC collision. There is no TETHC, CC collision, and they have been upliftment of the fluvial deposits. Fluvial deposits, that means river deposits. It's like this. You have Himalayas, you have rivers coming. The rivers can deposit their sediments. Okay, the marine sediments have got over, so but still there is collision that is going on. Collision that is going on. So what will happen? These alluvial fans. Remember the word alluvial fans? These alluvial fans get uplifted, and they form what? They form Shivaliks. The Shivaliks are also called as uplifted alluvial fans of the rivers. Shivaliks, they are also known as uplifted alluvial fans. Of the rivers. Okay? And what is Purvanchal? Purvanchal is CC collision, marine sediments. Continent collision and marine sediments. Example of Purvanchal, you have what? Patkai, Naga, Manipuri hills, Mizo hills. Manipuri hills and so Manipuri hills and Mizo hills. Done, all of you? Okay. So, do one thing, all of you open your atlas for 5 minutes. Okay. Page number 10, India Physical. You can see some of the ranges there. Bareil range, it's a transition. बच्चे, Bareil is a transition between Purvanchal and Plateau. Bareil transition होता है Plateau और Himalayas के बीच. ठीक है? I'll let you know. Wait. See. Firstly, let's start. Hindu Kush. Can you see Hindu Kush? Can you see Karakoram? Karakoram. Kunlun Mountains. Ladakh Range. Extension of Ladakh is 𝐂𝐤 Range in Tibet. ज़ास्कर Mountains. Karakoram, Ladakh, ज़ास्कर. What are these? Ocean, continent, upliftment, ocean continent convergence, and the upliftment of marine sediments. Then you have, can you see Great Himalayas? बड़े में लिखा हुआ है GREAT. पूरा Himalayas last तक लिखा हुआ है. They've written in continuous one. Great Himalayas. Then you will see Pir Panjal Range. That's a part of Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. Can you see Shivalik Range? The Shivalik Range. Below Pir Panjal you have the Shivalik Range. Now, you can also see here towards the eastern side. Can you see Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga? Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga. Dhaulagiri peak भी दिखेगा नेपाल में. You can see Nanda Devi peak in Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand, Nanda Devi peak. You can see 𝐂𝐤 peak in Uttarakhand. Okay. Can you see Nanga Parbat towards Great Himalayas? G. where G is written, Great Himalayas G, you will see Nanga Parbat. Okay, can you see Namcha Barwa towards the eastern side? Towards the eastern side. Basically, what do you say? We say Great Himalayas. We say Great Himalayas extend from Nanga Parbat to Namcha Barwa. You can see that G and Himalayas. Himalaya ka A. So Great Himalayas extends from Nanga Parbat to Namcha Barwa. Okay. Now see. Kamet dekh liya, Nanda Devi dekh liya. We saw Kamet, we saw Nanda Devi, we saw Dhaulagiri, we saw Mount Everest, we saw Kanchenjunga. As I come here, can you all see towards eastern part of Bhutan? Can you see Dafla Hills? Dafla Hills. Can you see Mishmi Hills in Arunachal Pradesh? Dafla Hills and Mishmi Hills. Now see Patkai Bum towards Purvanchal. Can you see Patkai Bum? Can you see Naga Hills? Can you see Mizo Hills in Mizoram? Can you see Tripura is entirely jutted into Bangladesh? You look at the political map for side, yellow color. Tripura. Can you see Tripura is only entirely surrounded with Bangladesh, and Mizoram is surrounded with Bangladesh and Myanmar both. The first question that we did. Now, the question that she asked me, one girl asked me a question, Divya asked me a question that Bareil range jo hai, is it a part of the Peninsular Plateau? Because you can see Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, they are a part of Peninsular Plateau. You can see Naga Hill is a part of Purvanchal. So she was asking me question, Bareil range, is it a part of Purvanchal or is it a part of Peninsular Plateau? I said it is a transition. It is a transition from the Peninsular Plateau towards the Purvanchal. Towards Himalayas and Peninsular Plateau, it's a transition. That is the Bareil range. Can you see Mikir Hills now? Just above the Bareil range, can you see Mikir Hills? Mikir Hills are considered as an extension of the Peninsular Plateau. Okay, Karbi Anklong region, Karbi Anklong district of Assam, Mikir Hills. That's a part of Peninsular Plateau. Okay, did you all see this? These ranges. You can also see the ranges on page number 12. On page number 12, it's a big map. It's a big map. You will see many glaciers. You can see Ladakh range. You can see Great Himalayas. You can see Zaskar mountains. You can see Karakoram. Can you see Karakoram? Page number 12. For ekdam north mein, extreme north, Karakoram. It's written Karakoram. 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 Then below Karakoram you have Ladakh range. Below that you have Zaskar. Then you have Great Himalayas. You can see many of the lakes also. You will see rivers also. Kishan Ganga, Jhelum, Bular, Srinagar. Okay. You will see Pir Panjal range, Dhauladhar range. Okay. Mussoorie range. Can you see Mussoorie range? Can you see Kumaon range? Mussoorie and Kumaon. Okay. Can you see Bandar Poonch Peak? Can you see Bandar Poonch Peak? Can you see river Yamunotri and Bandar Poonch Peak? Actually, Yamuna comes from Yamunotri and a part of Bandar Poonch Peak. So, Bandar Poonch Peak ke paas, towards Bandar Poonch Peak you have Yamunotri glacier from which your Yamuna is coming. And you will be able to see one river of Yamuna also, Tons. Tons dikh raha hai, Giri bhi dikh raha hoga, Giri, Tons. Right? You can see river like Pindari glacier. Can you see Pindari glacier? Pindari glacier. River Pindar can also be seen there. Okay, fine. I'll go to rivers otherwise. Wait. Just to give you an idea about the rivers and some hills. What are we doing? We are doing Himalayas. We've seen the western Himalayas. We've seen the western Himalayas. We understand the Himalayan ranges. So, western Himalayas. What is happening? The upliftment is still continuing in Himalayas. The Indian plate is moving still today at a speed of 5 to 10 centimeter per year, and therefore the northern portion is tectonically unstable. India is moving, Indian plate is still moving. The collision has not yet stopped, and therefore it is tectonically unstable. There is still upliftment that is going on. Why are Himalayas the tallest mountains, one of the tallest mountains in the world? One reason is there is continuous upliftment. One, they are young mountains. They have not been eroded, and there also has been doubling of crust. You remember this term, doubling of the crust. One crust is above the other crust. There have been doubling of crust. And the reason is they are very tall because of enormous sediments. Lot of sediments. As India was coming from north, from south to north, there was enormous sediments. Why are Himalayas tallest? Enormous sediments. Doubling of crust. Because of the continent, they are young in nature, therefore less eroded. And the upliftment is still continuing. I said Himalaya continues, seem to be extending from Namcha Barwa towards above Arunachal Pradesh to Nanga Parvat. We saw that Himalayas extend from Nanga Parvat to Namcha Barwa. Nanga Parvat is in Jammu and Kashmir, whereas Namcha Barwa is just above Arunachal Pradesh. Right? Now, I have a question. I have a question. The question that I have for you is, why is it that when I look at Himalayas, why is it that this is the Great Himalayas, this is Middle Himalayas, this is Himalayas. Why is it that the width is, let's say, 400 kilometer here and the width is 160 kilometer here? Why? Sideward collision. Why? This is to do with the nature of collision. This is Eurasian plate. When Indian plate was coming from south to north, this is the Indian plate. Okay, as Indian plate was coming from south to north, first the western side of the Indian plate collided. First, the western side collided, and what we had? We have upliftment of. Did we not have upliftment here? We had upliftment here also. You have Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks. Here also Karakoram. You also have the upliftment. The sediments are also getting uplifted. Then this was the first sequence. The second sequence was Indian plate rotated anti-clockwise. It started rotating anti-clockwise. Then what you have? You have upliftment of sediments here also. You have upliftment of sediments here also. And then what is happening presently is, this is what is happening. So the sediments that were there closely spaced, now they got space to slouched, and they have now the space. But here the sediments are still very crunched. What is this called as? This is called as door shut slam. Door shut slam. So as you happen, this is the door, you open the door, okay, and then you close the door. So there is certain hinge. So Indian plate jab aaya, the western side got hinged first. The western side was hinged, it was closed. Then this got closed. And then what is happening? This side has now opened up. So it's like this. The door, this is the door, it closed, and the door has now opened up like this. So this is called as door shut slam technique. Pehle western side of the Indian plate collided, upliftment of sediments. Here also there were sediments separate getting uplifted, but more sediments upliftment here. Then what? All of the sediments are getting uplifted. Then what? The eastern side got hinged and the western side got down. So as the western side got down, they have got the space. They also came down and they have got the space. They are broader in nature, and this is not broad in nature. It is crunched. It is all together. So the reason why you have broader western side and the narrower eastern side is to do with the nature of the collision. Okay. So what is happening here? You'll see. Pehle this side got crunched, then turning up. Now this is how it is. So here, door shut slam technique. It's nothing but the collision of the peninsular plateau. The collision happened first on the western side. The plateau then rotated anti-clockwise and got hinged on the northeastern side, and the western side got opened. The opening up of the western side led to slumping of the sediments on the western Himalayas, whereas eastern side appears to be squashed hai, and this explains that why western Himalayas are broader than the eastern Himalayas. Why western Himalayas are broader than the eastern Himalayas. In case you want to draw this here, you can also draw this one. So just draw this figure, 3 figures side by side. Nice GIF. Please explain once more. Okay. Nahi samajh aaya. I'm drawing it all again. Divya, Sumanta, Nomal. So this is the sequence. This is the Eurasian plate. This is the Eurasian plate. How is Indian plate coming? The Indian plate is coming like this. The Indian plate is coming like this. The Indian plate is coming like this. First, the western side. At the first, what is happening? The western side collided, and the sediments got uplifted. The sediments got uplifted. Here also sediments are getting uplifted. Here also somewhat the sediments are getting, but there's more of upliftment here. This is the first one. What happens in the second one? Did you all understand this? कि पहले कौन सा side टकराया? पहले western side टकराया. Divya, is it fine? Sumanta, is it fine? Online class, is it fine? First, the western side collided. Then what happened? There was a rotation. Rotation how? Anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. So this is rotating anti-clockwise. How is the second happening? The second one is, this is the Indian plate. Okay, this got rotated anti-clockwise. The entire plate gets hinged. The entire plate gets sticked. So what do you have? You have the upliftment of sediments. Upliftment of sediments. The upliftment of sediments. Okay. So rotation of the rotation in the anti-clockwise manner. Okay. The entire plate hinged. The entire side of the plate got hinged. Okay, this is Indian plate. This is Eurasian. This is Eurasian. Okay, then what happened? The western side came down. Just like this, turn, the western side opened. So the western side came down. How is it now? It's like this. So as the third, this was second, what is happening? The western, this was the sediments got space, they are still uplifting. So Himalayas got space here. Himalayas got space here. The western side opened up. The western side opened up. Why did it come down? There is no logic to it. ऐसा हुआ. We are just speculating. This is what happened. Why does that happen? We don't know. Okay. The western side opened up. This caused slumping of the sediments. Slumping of sediments on western side. Slumping of the sediments on the western side. And crunching of the sediments on the eastern side. They are crunched, they are together. Or crunch is also squashing. Squashing of the sediments. Squashing of the sediments on the eastern side. And therefore what? The western of Himalayas are broader. That means the height of the eastern Himalayas, that means the height of the Himalayas on the western side is still increasing. Yes, यहाँ पे भी increase हो रहा है, western side में अभी भी height तो increase हो ही दिया because collision is going on, but the eastern side is increasing more. The height of the eastern side is increasing more. The western side also is the height is increasing because collision तो हो ही रहा है, right? So the western side are broader, the eastern side are not broader. Broader western side, narrower eastern, broader in the western side, narrower in the eastern side. Is it fine? Divya, Sumanta, height is still increasing, both on the western as well eastern side, but the height at the eastern side is increasing more. Are we getting this? Squashing, slumping of the sediments on the western side and the squashing of the sediments on the eastern side. Squash हो जाना, एक साथ जोड़ना. Is it clear? Yes. First, western side collided and the sediments got uplifted. Western side collided and the sediments got uplifted. The eastern side of the plate, यहाँ पे मैं एक चीज ही रीड कर लेती हूँ, आप सब कराने ही वाले हो. Western side collided and the sediments got uplifted. Second, the entire side of the Indian plate got hinged. पूरा का पूरा side hinge हो गया. Second, the western side opened up, caused the slumping of sediments on the western side and the squashing of the sediments on the eastern side. Slumping of the sediments, opening up of the sediments on the western side and the squashing of the sediments on the eastern side. Is it fine? This is how this was the Eurasian plate. This is how the plate came. Western side got hinged, got uplifted. The entire plate got uplifted. And then what you have? Opening up. Sediments got slumped. Whereas this is still rising. It's like this. This came, and this happened. Okay, so this is still upliftment. This is also still uplifting, but here this is more of crunching. This is more of squashing of the sediments on the eastern side. Online class. Sumanta, Divya, Diana, Mehak, Shelva, Sneha, Mukul, all of you clear? Understood? That's fine. Okay, so this is door shut clamp. Shutting the door, and then यहाँ से open up हो जाए. Starts opening up now. The difference between Western Himalayas and Eastern Himalayas. Don't open up. Don't turn. अच्छा, इधर ही है. The difference between the Western Himalayas and the Eastern Himalayas. बताओ. What is the difference between Western Himalayas and Eastern Himalayas? Western Himalayas is broader. Eastern Himalayas is narrow. Where do you have more of glaciers? Why you have more of glaciers in the western? Latitude. At a higher latitude, 37-degree latitude, but here you don't has as much of 37-degree latitude. So Western Himalayas at a higher latitude, therefore they are colder. Eastern Himalayas, they are not at that latitude, therefore comparatively warmer. Therefore you have more glaciers on the Western Himalayas, you have less glaciers in the Eastern Himalayas. Western Himalayas are broader, not to south. Eastern Himalayas are not broader. Therefore in Westerns you can see the distinct ranges. You can see Trans Himalayas, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks. But in the eastern side, the ranges cannot be distinguished. आपके NCERT में एक line है कि Shivalik is absent on the eastern side, and rather you have dwarfs. Don't consider it to be 100% correct statement. Shivaliks are not visible on the eastern side. ठीक है? शिवालिक इतना visible नहीं होते eastern side में. For that matter, eastern side में आप distinguish नहीं कर पाते हो. You can't distinguish between Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. ठीक? What are more steep, Western Himalayas or Eastern Himalayas? Which is more steep, Western Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas? How many believe Western Himalayas are steep? How many believe Eastern Himalayas are steep? What do you mean by steep? Basically, it's like I'm standing on Gangetic plain, or I'm standing on plain and I can see Himalayas tall. They are more steep where? In the eastern side. क्योंकि आप plain पे खड़े हो सामने एकदम steep Himalayas दिखेगा. But in western side you have ranges rising in the range. So eastern Himalayas, they are more steep. What do you mean by steep? The slope is not gentle. The slope is very steep. Gentle is this slope. So series of rising is where? In the Western Himalayas. As you see, series of rising in the Western Himalayas, they are not as steep. But in Eastern Himalayas, it is very steep. When I say steep, it's like this. This is the plain and you have the Himalayas. When I say not as steep, you have the series of ranges. Okay. Heading change kar lo. This is Western, this is Eastern. This is Western. All of you please change. Western and this is Western. Eastern. Okay. Which has more hill station and glaciers? Western has more hill station and glaciers. Okay. And which are more drier? Western are more dry. Do not have as much of rainfall. Monsoon is trapped in the Eastern Himalayas. So you have much of the rainfall here. About the forest, obviously you will have dry forest, coniferous forest. Here you have evergreen forest. On the eastern side you have evergreen forest. On the western side you have dry forest. You have coniferous forest, conical trees. ठीक है. Ma'am, approximately कहाँ से western खत्म होता है और कहाँ से eastern शुरू? You consider Western Himalayas to be part of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. Okay? In India, from Sikkim to Arunachal Pradesh, you consider it part of this one. So basically, India mein it's Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and the Uttarakhand. Some parts of Punjab region also, where you have hills. Shivalik hills are there in Punjab. That is also part of the Western Himalayas. Ladakh, I'm forgetting Ladakh. वो अलग है. Jammu Kashmir UT. Ladakh UT, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, ठीक है. Some parts of Punjab, they are Western Himalayas. Sikkim Himalayas, Arunachal Himalayas, they are part of the Eastern Himalayas. Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, they are considered to be part of Purvanchal, extension of Himalayas. Himalayas कहाँ से कहाँ तक है? Nanga Parbat to Namcha Parbat. Is it fine, Divya? Okay. The difference between the Western Himalayas and the Eastern Himalayas. Okay. Now, okay. Is it fine? Can I move on? Western Himalayas. Western Himalayas. Okay. Fine. Looking at, I said Himalayas are not water divide. What are water divide? We saw that a water divide is a slope that separates the rivers from one side of the slope and the other side of slope. So a divide is a range, a ridge where the rivers are separated on one side from the rivers on the other side. So what I'm saying to say is your Himalayas, they are not water divide. Rather, in Himalayas, river have been able to cut across and drain into the plains. If you look at your map, open up your map, you will see this. You will see this map. Open up the map. Can you see? Okay, open up page number 12. Open up page number 12. Can you all see Indus river? Indus river that comes from Tibet. Indus flows parallel between Ladakh and ज़ास्कर. It cuts ज़ास्कर. It flows between parallel Ladakh and ज़ास्कर. It cut across and then it enters Pakistan. So enter करने के लिए Pakistan, it has to cut Great Himalayas. Otherwise, it would have not been able to enter Pakistan. So it is originating at Tibet. It is flowing between Ladakh and ज़ास्कर. It cuts across Great Himalayas and then enters Pakistan. Similarly, if you look at similar other river is your Satluj river. It is parallel to Indus in Tibet. As it is parallel to Indus in Tibet, then you will see it is entering India. It is cutting across Dhauladhar. It is cutting across Shivaliks, and then finally it is going towards Punjab. So Dhauladhar ko bhi cut kar rahi hai. It is cutting Dhauladhar, it is cutting Shivalik. That means the rivers are, Himalayas are what? Himalayas are not water divide. Otherwise, the rivers on the western slope should have been different from the rivers on the eastern slopes. So, how is it possible that rivers are able to cut across Himalayas? One. Second, what is the concept of dune? You might have heard about various dune. There are dune, Patli dune, Kotli dune, okay, Harike dune. What is the concept of dune? Let us understand these two things. That's fine. That's young rivers. No, rivers are not young. Young stage bol sakte ho. You can say the rivers are in young stage. They are not young rivers. Actually, rivers existed even before Himalayas. Even before Himalayas were formed, the rivers were existing. So there were rivers coming from Tibet. They were draining from Tibet. They were draining from Tibet. Even when Himalayas were not formed, the rivers were there. What is happening? And such rivers which are older than Himalayas, these rivers we are called as antecedent rivers. They are existing before Himalayas. They are anteceding Himalayas. So, nahi girega. Don't worry. He's looking at this. मेरी book के साथ क्या कर रहे हो? It will not fall. So, rivers are pre-existing Himalayas. So, let's just say this is Tibet. Okay, rivers are existing. Rivers are existing. Then what happens? Rivers were existing. Then what? Himalayas came. Firstly, let's say Great Himalayas came. Forget Trans Himalayas for now. Great Himalayas came. Now what is happening? Rivers are flowing. Great Himalayas are uplifted. Now what will river do? The path of the river will be blocked. This is the river. Now you have the uplifted sediments. Great uplifted sediments. The river starts flowing like this. The river starts flowing like this because it cannot come down. Kahin to bahegi, so it starts flowing like this. As it starts flowing like this, it tries to erode things like this. Okay, the sediments, it tends to erode. Then what happened? But the rising of Himalayas are very slow. So what do rivers do? This is, let's say, this is your Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks. This is the Tibet. Rivers were coming here. The rivers were blocked by the upliftment of the sediments. The river starts flowing like this. The river starts flowing like this. But the upliftment was very, very slow. So what did the river do? Because upliftment was slow, the river could manage to cut across the sediments. Then, and then, as it is very soft sediments, then again the rivers were flowing, because then upliftment of Middle Himalayas, the river starts flowing like this. But then after some time, river were able to cut. Again, upliftment of Shivalik, the river. So this is the way it is uplifting. Or you can imagine, this is the way it is getting uplifted. The river aise flow karegi. But then it is able to cut it off. Then the river starts draining. But then you have the upliftment of Middle Himalayas. The river starts flowing like this in east to west manner. Then river is able to cut across. Then river starts again flowing in east to west. It is able to cut across Shivaliks. So what happens is, and finally goes and finally meets the northern plate. What happens is, in the process where you have Himalayas like this, you have Shivaliks like this, you have Middle Himalayas like Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. This is how you are seeing Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks. You have east-west valleys, longitudinal valleys. Why longitudinal? Because they are from one longitude to other longitude. So east-west longitudinal valleys. These east-west longitudinal valleys are called as dunes. इसी को आप दून कहते हो. गहरा दून, पाटली दून, कोटली दून. हिमालयस के बीच में ईस्ट टू वेस्ट आपको ऐसे वैली दिख रहे हैं. ठीक है. So what is happening? Imagine two things is happening. One is, show me a book. It's like, this is your Tibet. There's nothing here. Rivers are flowing, flowing, flowing and flowing. Normal. Sediments got uplifted. River's path got blocked. Before the river could cut across and move to you, they start moving west to east. Over the time, what happened? They could cut across. They were again flowing to the plain. But then later on, what happened? Shivaliks or Middle Himalayas start rising. So again, the river start flowing west to east. Then after some time, they could cut across. They could flow towards the plain. But then Shivaliks got uplifted. Again, river start flowing west to east. Finally, could cut across the Shivalik, and then it is draining into the northern plain. So this is your Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks. Rivers have their origin. It was moving like this. When Himalayas came, it start moving like this, then it could cut across, then rivers again start moving like this, it could cut across, again start moving. This is, let's say, your Himalayas, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, and let's say Shivaliks. So in between Great Himalayas and Middle Himalayas, you have east to west valleys. These are longitudinal valleys, east to west valleys. They are called as dunes. What are dunes? East to west longitudinal valleys in between the Himalayas. हाँ, तब नहीं कट करेगी, थोड़े टाइम के लिए ब्लॉक हो गई, ठीक है, वही तो कह रही हूँ, थोड़े टाइम के लिए ब्लॉक हो गई, बट रिवर का पानी तो आ ही रहा है, फिर बाद में कट करने लगेगी. जब उसने कट कर लिया और फ्लो कर दिया, तब ये जो वैलीज हो जाएंगी, द वैलीज विल बिकम ड्राई. द ड्राई वैलीज, ड्राई longitudinal valleys are called as dunes. For initially it will not be able to cut, it will start flowing, but then later on it will be able to cut it. Okay, when there is a lot of pressure, and Himalayas are rising smoothly. Wouldn't the river form lakes? Yes, Shelva, it will form lakes, but then once they again cut the Himalayas, the lake beds will become dry. That is called as dunes. That is called as dry longitudinal valleys. Because it is extending from, why are we calling this as longitudinal? Because, so let's say this is 68 degree east, this is, let's say, 97 degree east. So they are extending from one, they are extending along the entire longitude, therefore longitudinal. They are not extending along the latitudes, they are extending across the different longitude. Okay, therefore longitude. Shelva, is it clear? Online class, is it clear? Achha. Online class, clear? Divya, Shagun, Neha, Dune thoda samajh nahi aaya. Okay, let's read something, then we'll see how can we further explain. This is, I'm trying to show how is the river able to cut. This is the Tibet, the rivers are flowing through Tibet. There is upliftment of Himalayas. The river got blocked and the river starts flowing like this. When there was upliftment of Himalayas, the river could cut across. Again the river could flow if there is upliftment of middle Himalayas, but later could cut them also. Again later could cut them. So place this thing, place this entire thing like this. This is Tibet, this is Great Himalayas, this is Middle Himalayas, this is Shivaliks. So for the time being, jab tak Himalayas ban gaye the, they were flowing like what? They were flowing, this is north, this is south, this is west, this is east. For the time being, they were flowing west to east. Flowing west to east. Okay, Shagun. Okay, fine. Let me read it, then I'll explain again. I'm saying almost all the Himalayan rivers, they cut across the mountains. You see Satluj, you see Indus, they are cutting across. You see Kosi. I'm not saying Ganga. Ganga ka origin hi Himalayas se. I'm not saying Ganga. Ganga is probably not considered to be an antecedent river. Okay? In the present light, almost all the Himalayan rivers, they could cut across the mountains and drain into the northern plains. Today we see that in the Satluj and other things. Such rivers are called as antecedent rivers. The rivers are older than Himalayas. They are older than Himalayas, and as Himalayas uplifted, the river could cut across the Himalayas. This happened as rivers were large enough, and the Himalayas were rising at a very slow pace, and therefore river could keep pace and erode them. When the mountains were being uplifted, the river from Tibetan highlands, they were blocked, obviously from something. If this is the way the river is coming, you will lift something up. What will happen? The path of the river will be blocked. It was coming north to south, something got uplifted, the path of the river gets blocked. The river from the Tibetan highlands get blocked, and then what do they form? They form longitudinal lakes. Why longitudinal? From one longitude to the other. And then eventually what happened? They could cut across the sediments, and then what you will have? You will have a dry lake bed, which is called as dune ya wadi between the Himalayan ranges. And these are the valleys, and therefore they are good for location of agriculture, horticulture, because they have fertile lacustrine deposit. What is lacustrine? The deposit that is derived from the lake. What do you call this? You call this as longitudinal valleys, that is extending between two parallel mountains chains in the young old mountains. अभी कुछ तो समझ आया होगा, I believe. let me just explain it once again. I'll draw it like this. I'll draw it like this. Here you have Tibet. Here you have Tibet. Here the Himalayas. The rivers are draining. The rivers are draining across the Tibet. Okay, यहाँ से आए. Okay, the rivers are flowing down. Okay, this is the case 1. Now what happens? This is Tibet. There is upliftment of Himalayas. Okay, there is upliftment of Himalayas. Now how will the river start flowing? The river which was coming here start flowing west to east. Starts flowing west to east because there's some mountain that has blocked the river's path. There's some mountain that has blocked the river's path. It starts flowing west to east. Okay, blocking of the river that has been there. Now what happened? But the river is able to cut across the mountain. The river is able to cut across the mountain later on. So what is happening here? Initially this was a lake. But when the river is able to cut across the mountains, then what you will have? You will have a dry valley. So here you have what? You have Tibet, you have Himalayas. The river is now able to cut it, and you have a valley in between. That is nothing but dry longitudinal valleys. ये चीज हो गई. Great Tibet और Great Himalayas के बीच में बन गया. Same process होगा. Again, upliftment of Middle Himalayas. The river starts flowing west to east, but then able to cut it off. Again, then flows west to east. Again, able to cut it off. Again, flows west to east. Again, able to cut it off. So Great Himalayas और Middle Himalayas के बीच में you will have valleys. Middle Himalayas और शिवालिक के बीच में also you will have these longitudinal valleys. Is it fine now, Shagun? Divya? Shelva? Sumanta? Anybody else? तो बाकी जगह क्यों नहीं है? Between Great Himalayas और Middle Himalayas मिलती ही हैं. दिव्या, जहां पे ब्लॉक हुई है, जहां पे रिवर ब्लॉक हुई थी, वहां मिलेगी. जहां ब्लॉक हुई वहां नहीं मिलेगी. जैसे कोई उस अपने जैसे कोसी, तो कुछ रिवर्स पहली हैं. सम रिवर्स आर बिफोर राइज ऑफ हिमालयस. कोसी इज बिफोर द राइज ऑफ हिमालयस. सतलज is before the rise of Himalayas. Indus is before the rise of Himalayas. Ganga is not before the rise of Himalayas. What is the origin of Ganga? Gangotri glacier. From where? Himalayas. Some rivers existed. Some rivers did not exist. Divya, why shouldn't the river flows be from west to east? Where is the slope? Diana, the slope is from north to south. From Tibet towards the plain. That's the slope. Okay? From Tibet towards the plains, and they are before Himalayas. She's asking me, rivers Himalayas को क्यों नहीं follow करती हैं? Before they are occurring before the Himalayas. Himalayas के पहले हैं, अपना path को follow करेंगे. They will follow their path. The path was what? From Tibet to the four deep or the peninsular plateau region. Okay, the path was from there. Okay, fine. That's okay. Now. So this is what you have. Antecedent rivers. Here you can also see this. The rivers are rising. There was upliftment of the sediments. These are the better. The river's path got blocked west to east, but the rivers could cut across the regions. All of you, are you getting this? The sediments are getting upliftment. Rivers is following west to east. Again, this is how they are. Okay. Let me move forward. Now this was about your Himalayas and the features. What are the features of Himalayas? You have Western Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas, you have lakes, you have dry lakes, you have glaciers, you have rain in the Eastern Himalayas, not so good rain in the Western Himalayas. If I look at this was north to south division of Himalayas. If I look at the east to west division of Himalayas, the east to west division, you have Kashmir Himalayas or the northwest Himalayas. You have Himachal. हम regional देख रहे हैं, हमने north south देख लिया. North south was what? Karakoram, Ladakh, 𝐂𝐤𝐧𝐬𝐿. Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. That was there. We understand the difference between them. Karakoram, Ladakh, 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐿 is because of OC collision. Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas are because of CC collision. Shivalik is also because of CC collision. But Great Himalayas and Middle Himalayas, they are made up of marine sediments. Shivalik is made up of fluvial sediments. Middle Himalayas, they are broken. They are discontinuous range. Himalayas, they are not so discontinuous. Why are Middle Himalayas broken? Because there was a lot of pressure. So the ranges got broken. There was very strong collision. बहुत strong collision हो रहा था जब Middle Himalayas rise कर रहे थे. Therefore they got broken. Right? This was north to south division. If I talk about west to east division, it'll Kashmir Himalayas or the northwestern Himalayas, Himachal Himalayas or Uttarakhand Himalayas. You have Darjeeling Himalayas and Sikkim Himalayas. You have Arunachal Himalayas, yeah, Assam Himalayas. So what do you have? Kashmir Himalayas, Uttarakhand, Himachal Himalayas, Sikkim and Darjeeling Himalayas, and you have the eastern. ठीक है, इसके फीचर्स हैं कि किस किस के बीच में क्या क्या है. पंजाब किसके बीच में है, कुमाऊं किसके बीच में, नेपाल किसके बीच में, असम किसके बीच में, ईस्टर्न हिल्स. व्हाट आर these? So these are between the rivers. So Punjab Himalayas is between Indus and Satluj. Between Satluj and Kali, you have Uttarakhand or Himachal Himalayas. Between Kali and Teesta, you have Nepal Himalayas. Between Teesta and your Brahmaputra, we have the Assam Himalayas or Sikkim and the Darjeeling Himalayas. And then you have the eastern hills. Okay, the eastern hills. So here you have the regional division of Himalayas. We've already looked at this. कि आपका कहाँ पे क्या क्या है. We've also looked at this at the world map. There are some important features of these regional Himalayas. Regional Himalayas में क्या क्या है? They can ask you features like where do you have Wooler Lake, where do you have Baltoro Lake, Baltoro glaciers. What about Siachen Glacier? Factual information पूछता है. ये NCERT से ही उठाया हुआ है. This is your NCERT. ठीक है, this is entirely NCERT. बच्चे स्लोप ऐसी है ना, Diana, isn't the resultant flow right now from east to west? No, you don't call it as east to west. No, you call it as north to south only. ठीक है, don't call it as east to west. Okay. Rather you call it as northeast to southwest. Northeast to southwest. Okay. Moving on. Understood? Now, Kashmir Himalayas के बारे में क्या information है? Kashmir Himalayas, they are in Kashmir. They are part of Western Himalayas. They will have what? They are famous for saffron cultivation. Kashmir में you have saffron, but saffron, local name is saffron. Saffron cultivation के लिए famous है. Because you have a local formation of soil, that is Karewa soil. Karewa is famous for the saffron, a local variety of saffron. दो इसमें lakes हैं. क्या lake हैं? Dal Lake and Wooler Lake. दो glaciers हैं, Siachen Glacier and the Baltoro glaciers. So Kashmir, it has Karakoram, Ladakh, 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐿, Great Himalayas, Pir Panjal and Shivaliks. They have Valley of Kashmir. Dal Lake is in Kashmir. It is between Great Himalayas and Pir Panjal. Dal Lake is between Great Himalayas and Pir Panjal. You have glaciers, Baltoro and Batu. It is famous for saffron cultivation. Zafran बोलते हैं उसको. And इसके कुछ important passes हैं. Passes means what? The gaps. The gaps in the mountain. A mountain can have certain gaps, that is known as pass, which can be used for passing from one place to another. One place to another, that is called as pass. You have what? You have in the Great Himalayas you have 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐿. In the Pir Panjal you have Banihal. Towards Ladakh you have Khardungla. Towards 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐿 you have Khotula. How do you remember? Great Himalayas is like Godzilla. Great Godzilla. So 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐿. Godzilla, 𝐂𝐳𝐬𝐿. ठीक है. Banihal A and B, B is the second letter. पीर पंजल, दो P हैं और B भी दो है, A और B, second letter is B, second letter is B, पीर पंजल has two P's, तो आप बनिहाल is on पीर पंजल, ऐसे भी याद कर सकते हो लेटर की मदद से. अदरवाइज if you keep one P like this and if you keep other P like this, it becomes P. So बनिहाल is पीर पंजल, पीर पंजल, ठीक है. कैसे भी याद करो, बस करो, पीर पंजल बनिहाल. गॉडजिला, ज़ोज़िला, ग्रेट हिमालयस. झक्कास फोटो, ठीक है. तो फोटुला एंड ज़ास्कर, फोटुला एंड ज़ास्कर 1. खारदुंगला, it starts from KH, Ladakh ends with KH. So Khardungla is on Ladakh, Fotula is on Zaskar, ठीक है. Godzilla, Zozila is on Great Himalayas, and you have Banihal Pass on Pir Panjal, ठीक है. याद हो गया, Banihal on Pir Panjal, Khardungla on Ladakh, Zozila is on, Fotula is on Zaskar, and Zozila is on Great Himalayas. So this is these are the ranges. What are the other important things you should know? You have Dal Lake, you have Wooler Lake. These are freshwater lakes. Dal Lake है, Wooler Lake है. We'll see this on the map also. Dal Lake, Wooler Lake. दो lakes हैं. दो lakes, दो glacier. Glacier क्या थे? सियाचिन और, मतलब और भी होंगे, but NCERT में दो दिए. सियाचिन and Baltur. Salt water lakes, you have Pangong Tso and So Murari. Pangong Tso, So Murari. What are the important rivers? You have Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. They have famous pilgrimage centers, Vaishno Devi, Amarnath, Charare, and it has longitudinal valleys called as Dunes. Jammu Doon, partly. River Jhelum meanders. Generally, meandering is a feature of what? Middle course, but River Jhelum is meandering because there is a local base level. The local flat region है, River Jhelum starts meandering. ठीक है. In this meandering only you have Dal Lake. The base has been provided by the Dal Lake. Local base कहाँ से आया? Dal Lake. Anybody of you has gone to Kashmir? नहीं. It's not the right time to go. ठीक है. I went in June after my examination in prelims. Not the best time to go. The best time to go is in winters. ठीक है. You have 40 days. You have 40 days extreme cold weather. Chilai Kalam, right? I'm not able to pronounce it well. Yeah, February is also good. Okay, but then 40 days festival. You will read this in your art and culture also. Chilai Kalan, they keep hot अंगीठी जैसे होती है. They keep it with them so that they are hot throughout. It's very, very cold in Kashmir, right? So if somebody has been to Kashmir, Srinagar, आप सबसे पहले जाते हो श्रीनगर. In Srinagar, you see Jhelum River, you see Dal Lake, you see Mughal Garden, you see Gulmarg, and you see Sonmarg. 2 days trip is this. ठीक है. Srinagar, Gulmarg, Sonmarg, Dal Lake, and Jhelum. You will get to, and in the lake only you will see the reflection of the mountains. If you want to see you can click the mountains by them also, or you can just click the water. Then also you'll see the mountain reflections. Okay, and you have what? Shikara boat house, that is also there. Okay, so point ये है, श्रीनगर जाते हैं तो दाल लेक ही देखते हो, तो दाल लेक is on, Srinagar is in Dal Lake के पास. Srinagar city has Dal Lake is on Jhelum. So Jhelum, Dal Lake, Srinagar. This is the itinerary you can remember. Okay, so Srinagar city has Dal Lake, and it is on Dal Lake is because of the Jhelum river meandering. So this is your Kashmir Himalayas. If I talk about second regional division, it's Himachal and Uttarakhand Himalayas. Himachal or Uttarakhand is there in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. It is between what? It is between Satluj and Kali. It is driven by Satluj river and Kali river. Okay. यहाँ पे रावी लिखा है, ठीक है, IJCR, ठीक है, रावी और काली के बीच में, रावी and काली के बीच में. Therefore, Ravi is a tributary of Indus, and Kali is a tributary of Ghagra, and Ghagra is a tributary of Ganga. ठीक है, राम जाने गोमती का घाघरा, तो घाघरा is a tributary of Ganga. तो यहाँ पे दो major rivers drain करती है, Ghagra and Indus. The tributaries of Indus, Ravi, Byas and Satluj drain here. The tributaries of Ganga, Yamuna and Ganga drain here. It has all the three Himalayas, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. Middle Himalayas are locally known by different names. You have Dhauladar and you have Nag Tippa. तो ये regional division है, इसमें facts हैं, NCERT वाले ही facts हैं, ठीक है. Here you have Himachal Himalayas and which rivers are. If I talk about यहाँ पे क्या hill station है, they keep on asking hill station, they keep on, therefore you should know about the hill station. In Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, Dharamshala, Mussoorie, Shimla, काउसानी, कसोली, अल्मोड़ा, लैंसडाउन, रानी खेत, ठीक है. हाँ, यस, भीमताल, नैनीताल, दैट्स देयर. इसमें दून कौन से? चंडीगढ़ दून, कालका दून, नालागढ़ दून, देहरादून, हरिके दून, ठीक है. What are the important? You have tribes here, local tribes. They ask question on which tribe is where. You have tribes. The tribes are Bhotia tribe, the Bhotia tribe, which migrate to Bugyals. Bugyals are grasslands. So basically यहाँ पे एक important चीज जो आपको पता होना चाहिए, that is Bhotia tribes. They actually keep on migrating. This is your, this is the, okay, the peaks. Okay, it's very cold in the winters. So what do the tribes do? They, in the winters they come down in the valley. In the valley they come down. The tribes come down. Then what happens? They are here because winters में the cattle would not give as much of milk. They will also have problems. So here they come down. But when in the winters, what happens in the summers? Again they go down. This is called as seasonal migration, also called as seasonal migration and transhumance. Right, correct. So we are looking at that these are inhabited by nomadic Bhotia tribe. The name of the tribe is Bhotia. They are inhabited by nomadic Bhotia tribe who migrate to Bugyals. What are Bugyals? Bugyals are summer grasslands in the higher reaches. So जो higher reaches में grasslands है उसको बोलते हो Bugyal. So they migrate to Bugyals during the summer season and return to the valleys in the winter. तो valleys में winter में आते हैं, grasslands के लिए ऊपर summers में जाते हैं Bugyals. And what is the tribe? The name of the tribe is Bhotia. ठीक है. यहाँ पे कुछ important tourist location है. The tourist location you have Valley of Flowers, you have Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath, Badrinath, Hemkund Sahib. At least in Uttarakhand, Himachal, Himalayas, these are the facts that you can at least know. 3-4 बार देखोगे, MCQ solve करोगे तो you will remember. You will remember if you revise it twice or thrice. If I just revise it for you, Himachal, Himalayas, Uttarakhand, Himalayas, they are between Kali and they are between your 𝐂𝐭. They are between Ravi. They are between Ravi and 𝐂𝐭. That Ravi is a tributary of Indus, so Indus also drains here. 𝐂𝐭 is a tributary of Ganga, therefore Ganga also drains here. So Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas and Satluj. So Ravi drains here, Byas drains here, Satluj drains here. The first river is Indus. Then you have Jhelum, then you have Chenab, then you have Ravi, then you have Byas, then you have Satluj. तो इसमें से क्या आती है? रावी, ब्यास एंड सतलज drain here. Ganga and Yamuna, they drain here. If I talk about important hill stations you have Dharamshala, Mussoorie, Kausani, Almora. ठीक है. कुछ यहाँ पे आपके important tribe जो है वो भोतिया tribes है, बुग्याल है. कुछ important valleys या national parks और biosphere reserve. You have Valley of Flower National Park. Valley of Flower National Park, गंगोत्री पीक है, यमुनोत्री पीक है, केदारनाथ, बद्रीनाथ, हेमकुंड साहिब. So this is your regional map. You can have an idea about it. फिर regional map में आपका आता है दार्जिलिंग एंड सिक्किम हिमालयस. यानी हिमालयस, see Himalayas are extending through what states? अभी तो जम्मू कश्मीर लद्दाख नहीं है. Then it was Jammu Kashmir also. Himalayas extends through Punjab, Himachal, Punjab also, right? Punjab, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, West Bengal and also Arunachal Pradesh. So here we are looking at Sikkim and Darjeeling. Darjeeling is a part of West Bengal, the northern part of West Bengal. So it is flanked by Nepal Himalayas, Bhutan Himalayas. कौन सी important river है? River, you have Teesta River. What peaks do you have? Kanchenjunga peak. आपको एक region में क्या क्या पता होना चाहिए? They keep on asking questions on peaks and rivers. They keep on asking question on hill station and rivers. They can ask question on tribes and rivers, tribes or the region. तो आपको एक region के अंदर river के बारे में, peak के बारे में, you should know about rivers, you should know about peaks, you should know about the tribes. So we are doing the same thing. We are looking at Kashmir, we looked at glacier. At Kashmir, we looked at rivers. At Kashmir, we looked at peaks. We looked at passes. Similarly, in your Sikkim and Darjeeling also, you have peaks. The name of the peak is Kanchenjunga peak. You have a river called as Teesta river. You have a tribe called as Lepcha tribe. So Lepcha tribe है, peak Kanchenjunga peak है, river आपका Teesta river. It is flying between Nepal Himalayas and Bhutan Himalayas. What is this region famous for? This region is famous for tea. Darjeeling की चाय. This is famous for tea gardens. The tea gardens. Why it is famous for tea gardens? Because tea as a crop. अगर आप टी की बात करो एज अ क्रॉप, तो टी को मॉडरेट स्लोप चाहिए होता है. स्टैग्नेट वाटर नहीं टॉलरेट कर सकते. इट कैन नॉट टॉलरेट स्टैग्नेट वाटर. टी रिक्वायर्स मॉडरेट स्लोप. टी रिक्वायर रेनफॉल नियरली थ्रू आउट द ईयर. लेस रेनफॉल. जो टेंडर लीव्स हैं वो इसलिए आती है बार बार क्योंकि रेनफॉल होती है. So you need rainfall throughout the year. You need moderate slope. You need good organic soil. बहुत ज़्यादा high temperature नहीं चाहिए, otherwise the bushes can burn. So you need. तभी you will see that tea is in the northern side, whereas coffee can also be in the southern side. So it does not tolerate very high sun rays. So you need, what do you need? Moderate slope. You need thick soil cover, organic. You need well distributed rainfall, and you need mild winters. ये जहाँ पे दिखता है उसको बोलते हो द्वार. वो रीजन को द्वार बोलते हो. बेसिकली दिस इज, लेट्स से योर ईस्टर्न हिमालयस. यू हैव स्लोप हियर, मॉडरेट स्लोप, एंड यू हैव वेरी हाई स्लोप. Very high slope is your Himalayas. Moderate slope is considered door to Himalayas. द्वार to Himalayas. तो ये द्वार region में जहाँ पे moderate slope है, you have thick soil, you have a well distributed rainfall throughout the year. You have these tea gardens. Is it fine? These are the tea. ज़्यादातर कॉफी होता है. Tea is in the northern part. That's coffee. Nilgiri, Anaimali is famous for coffee. Okay. So this is about your Sikkim and Darjeeling Himalayas. We touched upon Kashmir Himalayas. We touched upon Uttarakhand Himalayas. We touched upon Punjab Himalayas, Uttarakhand and Himachal Himalayas. We touched upon Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas. If I talk about जो last वाला Himalayas है, Arunachal Himalayas. Arunachal Pradesh में there are some tribes. There are some tribes which are engaged in a very different form of agriculture. Arunachal Pradesh में the tribes, or for that matter northeast in India only, there are tribes which are engaged in slash and burn agriculture. Slash means what? You slash the forest. Burn means what? You burn the land. You burn the region. It is also called as slash and burn agriculture. Once you slash trees, once you burn the land, you do agriculture here. After some time, the agriculture is productive for some time. After some time, when the land is not so productive, then what do? You move to the other place. Then what do? You slash the forest there. And then you burn the region there. And then you do the agriculture there. For 2-3 years you do this, 5-10 years you do this. Again you leave that place. Again you go to the third place. You cut the forest there. You burn the region there. And then you do the agriculture. And then what happened? Let's say you did the first slash and burn at the patch A. You cut the forest, you burn the region, you did agriculture. Then you move to place B, cut the forest, burn the land, did the agriculture. Move to the place C, did the same thing. Move to the place D, did the same thing. By the time you come to A again, the forest has already grown. 50 years, forest has grown. And then again you cut the forest, you do the agriculture. But this time, if the agriculture first time was profitable for 10 years or sustainable for 10 years, this time it will be sustainable for less than 10 years or less, 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years. So ये जो cycle है, the cycle goes on shortening. And this type of agriculture is considered by some as harmful to the forest, because burning will not always lead to rejuvenation of the soil. इसको क्या बोलते हो? आपको इसको बोल सकते हो shifting agriculture, because you're shifting from one place to another. You can call this as slash and burn agriculture. You can also call this as zoom cycle, zoom rahe from one place to another. So circular zooming. Tribals do that, but then there are question mark on this practices. It is believed that this is, some believe that it is a fine practice, there's no harm to the nature. Others believe that it is a not so good practice, it reduces the fertility of the soil. What are we doing? In Arunachal Himalayas, you have this slash and burn agriculture. Slashing, burning and agriculture, also called as shifting agriculture. So Arunachal में some tribes they practice zooming, shifting या slash and burn agriculture. कौन सी tribes मिलती है अरुणाचल प्रदेश में? You have Monpa tribe, Abhor tribe, Mishmi tribe, Nishi tribe, Naga tribe. Obviously, Naga we know, Mishmi, Abhor, Dafla Miri, Abhor, Mishmi, so Abhor, Mishmi, Nishi and Monpa tribe. What are the important rivers that flows through this region? Brahmaputra flows through this region. Brahmaputra is flowing through this region. And Brahmaputra की tributaries जो भी हैं, Kameng, Subansiri, Lohit, Dihang, Dibang, the tributaries of Brahmaputra flow through. What are the important peak here? We saw you have Namcha Barwa towards Arunachal. ठीक है? So Namcha Barwa towards the Arunachal Pradesh. कहाँ मिलता है? East of Bhutan. You get this as the east of Bhutan. What are we looking? We are looking at Arunachal Himalayas, east of Bhutan. Which peak? Namcha Barwa peak. Which rivers? Brahmaputra river. What are the other tributaries of Brahmaputra that flow? You have Kameng, Subansiri, Dihang, Dibang, Lohit, और भी है, ठीक है? You have slash and burn agriculture here. The names of the tribes are what? Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. जो आपके hills के नाम है वही Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. You have Naga tribes, you have Nishi tribes, you have other tribes, Monpa tribes. ये आपके कुछ tribes है यहाँ पे अरुणाचल हिमालय. Looking at eastern Himalayas, these are Purvanchal. The alignment is north to south. Alignment क्या है? North to south. कौन सी hills हैं? बताओ. कौन सी hills हैं? बताओ. What are the hills in Purvanchal? हाँ आपसे पूछ रहे. बताओ. Good morning. बताओ. नागा. जो सोएगा मैं उसी से पूछूंगी. बताओ. नागा, पटकाई, मीजो, मणिपुर. All the hills of the Purvanchal. पटकाई, नागा, मीजो, मणिपुर. We saw that. यहाँ से important river जो होती है उसका नाम है बराक. And we saw a transition between Peninsular Plateau to Purvanchal, that is Bareil range. यहाँ पे एक famous मणिपुर में there is a famous lake called as Loktak Lake. Loktak Lake, हाँ. What is this famous for? Loktak Lake पे, yeah, this is a floating national park. The vegetation keeps on floating. The name of the vegetation is Kumdi. You have a deer here. The deer appears to dance here because of the vegetation, called as dancing deer. उनका gait ऐसा है, उनका movement ऐसा है. और park का नाम क्या है? केबुल लामजाओ नेशनल पार्क. तो मणिपुर में लिख सकते हो केबुल लामजाओ नेशनल पार्क, केबुल लामजाओ नेशनल पार्क. There is Sangai deer. संगाई डियर, उसको ब्रैकेट में लिख सकते हो डांसिंग डियर. दिस इज फ्लोटिंग नेशनल पार्क. फ्लोटिंग नेशनल पार्क. फ्लोटिंग नेशनल पार्क appears to be floating because of Kumdi vegetation. Because of Kumdi vegetation. समझ आया? ये क्या है? Eastern hills and the mountains. What we've covered? We've covered the Himalayas. We've covered the Himalayas. क्या है Himalayas? काराकोरम, लद्दाख, जास्कर, पीर पंजल, धौलाधार. Towards उत्तराखंड you have मसूरी and कुमाऊं. ये सब आपने देख लिया, ये सब हमने बना लिया. सासेरला, इसमें हमने what all we've seen some passes. We've seen खारदुंगला, we've seen फोटुला, we've seen जोजीला, ठीक है, वी सी बनिहाल। ठीक है, एक और इम्पोर्टेंट पास है जहां से आपकी इन द सतलज रिवर एंटर करती है, जैसे सतलज रिवर एंटर्स, एस फॉर सतलज, एस फॉर शिपकीला, सो इट एंटर्स फ्रॉम शिपकीला, इट इज देयर ऑन धौलाधार रेंज। तो शिपकीला से सतलज रिवर एंटर्स, सतलज रिवर एंटर्स, ठीक है। वी सॉ वूलर लेक, दाल लेक, दिस आर बिटवीन ग्रेट हिमालयस एंड वीर पंचल, कश्मीर में ग्रेट हिमालयस और ये आपका हिमालयस आ गया। यू आर आस्किंग मी लेसर हिमालयस कौन से, दीज आर लेसर हिमालयस, वीर पंचल, धौलाधार, etc. they are the lesser Himalayas. We've seen Himalayas. Moving on, lesser is middle, right? Middle Himalayas. ठीक है, passes और भी हैं, you have जेलिपला, नथुला, सेला, ये भी कुछ passes हैं। दाफला हिल पे से है, ठीक है। सिक्किम पे you have जेलिपला एंड नथुला, सिक्किम पे you have नथुला एंड। Before we start off question, just look at map once and then we can look at the questions. Map देख लो, उसके बाद questions देख लो। Many of you would be, how many of you are opening your atlas for the first time? मतलब इतने ध्यान से पहली बार देख रहे हो, देखिए एटलिस पहले। Some of you are laughing, हाथ कैसे उठाएं, ठीक है। Open up page number 12. We've seen page number 12, but again we will see page number 12. Again we'll see page number 12. Let me see if there are passes here. No, there are no passes here, but still okay. Can you see Pangong Lake? It is half in China, half in India. Pangong Lake, half in China, half in India. Where you have Ladakh range, उसके ऊपर range जहाँ लिखी है उसके पास। Can you see Pangong So? Half in India, half in China. Pangong So. Can you see, just if you go south of Pangong So, you will be seeing So Murari. So Murari. Both of these are what? These are salt water lake. Pangong So and So Murari are the salt water lake. If you look at, can you see Jhelum and Lake Wooler? आपको Wooler और Jhelum दिख रहा होगा, हाँ, right. That is basically Dal Lake. Dal Lake is the oxbow lake. ठीक है. So Jhelum and Wooler. Can you see as you come down? अच्छा, can you tell me one important city on Jhelum apart from Srinagar? Apart from Srinagar, can you tell me one important city in Jhelum? No. कारगिल झेलम पे नहीं है, कारगिल इंदस पे। पूंछ, can you see Poonch? Can you see Poonch? Poonch is also on Jhelum. Can you see Jhelum is? Okay, fine, Sumanta. Yes, Divya. So Murari is a Ramsar lake. Passes are there on page 34. Thank you. Kargil is not on Jhelum. Jhelum pe you have Poonch. Can you see Poonch? That is there on Jhelum. We looked at Jhelum. Okay. So Murari, Pangong So, Wooler. दाल नहीं दिखाया हुआ है, वूलर लेक दिखाया हुआ है। ओके, नंगा पर्वत हमने देख लिया। कैन यू सी दिस वन, सियाचिन ग्लेशियर इन द नॉर्थ, सियाचिन ग्लेशियर, रेमो ग्लेशियर, बाल्टोरो ग्लेशियर, बियाफो ग्लेशियर, दिख रहे हैं ग्लेशियर्स? बियाफो, बाल्टोरो, सियाचिन, रेमो, हिस्पर, बटूरा ग्लेशियर, ये सब ग्लेशियर्स के नाम है। बटूरा, बाल्टोरो, हिस्पर, सियाचिन, रेमो। अक्साई-चिन कहाँ पे? अक्साई-चिन इज जहाँ पे सोडा प्लेन्स है, जहाँ पे सोडा प्लेन्स है वहां पे अक्साई-चिन है, राइट। सियाचिन बीच में है, अक्साई-चिन टू द ईस्ट एंड गिलगिट ग्लेशियर टू द वेस्ट। वेयर यू कैन सी गिलगिट रिवर, वहां पे आपका गिलगिट ग्लेशियर है। तो गिलगिट टू द वेस्ट, Siachen in between, Aksai-Chin to the east. Okay, all of you clear? And there are various glaciers that you can see. Siachen, Biafo, Baltoro, Batura, Hisper, Remo, ये सब glaciers ऊपर है ना, ट्रांस हिमालयस के ऊपर है, काराकोरम। इस अक्साई कह रहा हूँ मैं, सियाचिन सोच रही थी, नहीं, हाँ नहीं है, इस तरफ है, प्लेन्स के पास है, थोड़ा प्लेन्स, ठीक है, राइट। मूविंग ऑन, अच्छा, कैन यू जस्ट सी हियर ओनली, इन टू द राइट, कैन यू सी गुलमर्ग, दच्चीगाम नेशनल पार्क दिख रहे हैं, गुलमर्ग एंड दच्चीगाम नेशनल पार्क, गुलमर्ग एंड दच्चीगाम नेशनल पार्क, नेशनल पार्क भी देख लो। यहाँ पे अमरनाथ केव भी दिख रहा होगा, कैन यू सी अमरनाथ केव, पिलग्रिमेज सेंटर, टुवर्ड्स द राइट ओनली, पिलग्रिमेज सेंटर। हाँ, मुजफ्फराबाद भी है, मुजफ्फराबाद भी है, देयर इज अ सिटी कॉल्ड एज मुजफ्फराबाद इन झेलम, ठीक है, ओके। This was just to tell you that what all glaciers and other things you have, right? Okay. Moving on, you can open up page number 34. Page number 34. Yes, on page number 34 there are passes. There are passes that are shown. Can you see? Pamir Knot, Hindu Kush, Kunlun, towards Karakoram. Can you see Karakoram Pass? Can you see Aghil Pass? Page number 34. कुंजेराब पास, ये सब काराकोरम के पास है, ठीक है। देखो शिपकीला दिखेगा, शिपकीला जहां से आपकी सतलज एंटर कर रही है, शिपकीला इज वेयर द सतलज इज एंटरिंग, ओके। यू कैन सी हियर चुम्बी वैली, नथुला एंड चुम्बी वैली टुवर्ड्स सिक्किम। कैन यू सी नथुला, चुम्बी वैली? चुम्बी वैली हैज बीन very important strategically, it's been very important for India strategically. In this Chumbi Valley, this is this Chumbi Valley which connects India to the northeastern one. Chicken neck है यहाँ पे Chumbi Valley, ठीक है, वहां से it is very important for us strategically. If you look at here, Jelapla दिख रहा है, Jelapla, Nathula, Chumbi Valley, okay, so these are your, ठीक है। गौरी शंकर पीक जो है वो इस पे है, नेपाल में, राइट। ये कुछ आपकी कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट पासेस हैं। शिपकीला जो हमने देखी है उसकी बियॉन्ड ही है ये, या बियॉन्ड दिस व्हाट वी हैव ऑलरेडी लुक्ड। लुशाई हिल्स दिख रही है, लुशाई हिल्स, मिशमी, नागा, लुशाई। ये लुशाई हिल्स किसका पार्ट है? हमने तो लुशाई देखा ही नहीं, वी डिड नॉट सी लुशाई। मिजोरम, इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ मिजो हिल्स, लुशाई हिल्स इज अ पार्ट ऑफ मिजो हिल्स, राइट। This diagram shows very beautifully. The dotted portion is your Himalayas. The light green is Punjab, Upper Ganga Plain, Middle Ganga Plain, Lower Ganga Plains. You can see Rajasthan plains also. So Rajasthan also has plain. Rajasthan also is a part of peninsular plateau, right? So this is your physiographic divisions. And what were we seeing? Okay, very good. Yes, Mizo Hills, correct. Passes dekh liya. Okay, let's see northeast. Let's see northeast for 5 minutes. Page number. Yes. अमरनाथ का रूट किधर से है? अच्छा वो वाला, मतलब चाइना वाला पूछ रहे हो? मानसरोवर लेक के पास है ना, कैलाश मानसरोवर। यू हैव 2 लेक्स देयर, वहीं से। कैन यू सी कैलाश मानसरोवर, जहां से इंदस भी आ रही है आपकी, सतलज भी आ रही है, राकास लेक है वहां पे, और उसके बाद कैलाश मानसरोवर भी है। कैलाश रेंज इज नथिंग बट एन एक्सटेंशन ऑफ तिब्बत, एक्सटेंशन ऑफ लद्दाख। सो यू हैव काराकोरम, यू हैव लद्दाख, यू हैव जास्कर। लद्दाख उसका एक्सटेंशन है कैलाश, यहाँ पे लेके मानसरोवर, कैलाश मानसरोवर, एंड देन यू गो टू अमरनाथ, ऐसे। ओके, ऑल ऑफ यू ओपन पेज नंबर 18, पेज नंबर 18. Can you see it towards Sikkim? Can you see towards Sikkim? Zemu Glacier. Zemu Glacier से तीस्ता आती है, ठीक है। Can you see तीस्ता river? तीस्ता river. And there is one tributary of Teesta. What is the name of the tributary of Teesta? No. Rangit River. Rangit River is a tributary of Teesta. Can you please tell me, Teesta is a tributary of which river? Brahmaputra. Teesta finally goes and meets Brahmaputra in? Teesta finally goes and meets Brahmaputra in बांग्लादेश। तीसरा दिखा, जेमू ग्लेशियर भी दिखा, रंगित भी दिखा, गैंगटॉक दिखा। कैन यू सी कंचनजंगा? कैन यू सी कंचनजंगा पीक? As you come here to the eastern side, you will see Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Can you see Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi towards Arunachal Pradesh? Right? Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Can you see they are cut by rivers? Like Subansiri is flowing between Miri and Abhor. Abhor and Mishmi के बीच में आपकी दिहांग है, दिबांग है, लोहित है. Dibang, Dihang and Lohit. Combined together they are making ब्रह्मपुत्र. अभोर कहाँ है? जहां अरुणाचल प्रदेश लिखा है, प्रदेश के नीचे, PRADESH के नीचे. Towards 94 degree east, yes, 94 degree east, 28 degree north and 94 degree east. दिखा? Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Can you see Miri and Abhor is cut by Subansiri, and Abhor और Mishmi के बीच में there is Dihang. Mishmi को कट करिए दिबांग. यहाँ पे अबोर, यहाँ नहीं लिखा हुआ अबोर. Okay, okay, fine. Now, can you see Mikir Hills, Rengma Hills, Mikir Hills and Rengma Hills. These are part of transition between Peninsular Plateau and Himalayas. As you can see towards the eastern side, can you see Patkai Bum, Naga, Patkai Bum, Naga, East Manipur Hills, Lal Matol Range. लाल मटोल रेंज कौन से स्टेट में? ओके दिव्या, वेट. ओके, मणिपुर. लाल मटोल, मनी को देख के सब लाल मटोल हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, लाल भी और मटोल भी. तो मणिपुर में लाल मटोल रेंज. हाँ, लाल मटोल, वैसे लाई मटोल रेंज, लाई मटोल रेंज. देन यू हैव मीजो हिल्स. कैन यू सी मीजो रेंज? ओके, Bareil range, Jaintia, Khasi, Garo. So this is your eastern Himalayas. What did you not understand was Duars. What is Duars? Basically, Duars are gateway to Himalayas. If you look at Assam region, Assam is entirely plain. But if you look at Arunachal Pradesh, it is mountainous. So what happens? Right now I'm standing at Assam plain, but then you have Himalayas. And in places where there is good slope, moderate slope, not very steep slope, but moderate slope, thick soil cover, especially towards Darjeeling. Okay, thick soil cover, moderate slope, and good rainfall. You have sufficient conditions for tea. So here also, if you look at Darjeeling, here you will see Dwars. Towards Dwars, it's written towards Jalpaiguri, Teesta, Dwars. So Dwars hai kahan? Dwars is a place where you have moderate slope, not very steep slope. Why do you need moderate slope? Because tea cannot tolerate stagnant water. So moderate slope, which is opening to the Dwar to Himalayas, thick soil, good rainfall. Here it is famous for the tea cultivation. The Dwar are famous for tea cultivation. Dwar are gateway to Himalayas. They have moderate slope. They have thick soil, good rainfall. Right? Okay. So this is about your eastern Himalayas. Okay. Now, all okay? Fine. Yeah. 2022. Namcha Barwa, Garhwal Himalayas, Nanda Devi 𝐂𝐭 Himalayas, Nokrek Sikkim Himalayas. Okay, how many for A? How many for B? How many still reading? How many for B? How many for A? How many for A? How many for B? How many for C? How many for D? आपने आंसर नहीं किया, पढ़ ही रहे हो, ठीक है, आपने भी नहीं आंसर किया, दोनों ने, पीछे सबने आंसर किया क्या? Have you answered? हाँ, I saw you. समझा कैसा क्वेश्चन आता है? नामचा बरवा कहाँ पे? अरुणाचल प्रदेश के ऊपर, अरुणाचल में नहीं है, तिब्बत के पास है, ठीक है, अरुणाचल के ऊपर है. बट नामचा बरवा इज पार्ट ऑफ गढ़वाल हिमालयस. नो, गढ़वाल इज वेयर? उत्तराखंड. So 1 is wrong. So A and C goes wrong. 2 and 3. Nanda Devi is a part of, Nanda Devi is in Uttarakhand. 𝐂𝐭 is in Uttarakhand. 𝐂𝐭 is a part of Meghalayan Plateau. It is not part of Sikkim Himalayas. So answer is what? The answer is 2. Moving on to the next one. 2017 they asked this question. One of the most गारो खासी जयंतिया. नोकरेक जो है वो गारो पे, ठीक है, और खासी जो है उस पे शिलोंग है. गारो खासी जयंतिया, गारो पे आपका नोकरेक पीक है और जयंतिया पे आपका खासी पे आपका शिलोंग है. खासी पे आपकी शिलोंग. शिलोंग इज द कैपिटल ऑफ मेघालय. शिलोंग विच इज कैपिटल ऑफ मेघालय इज ऑन खासी हिल्स, एंड ऑन गारो यू हैव नोकरेक पीक. गारो खासी जयंती, ठीक. In India, Himalayas is spread over 5 states only. Western Ghats are spread over 5 states only. Pulicat Lake is spread over 2 states only. How many for A? So you need some time? Fine, sorry. How many for A? How many for B? How many for C? How many for D? We have A, B, C, D all. Himalayas are spread for 5 states only. जब ये क्वेश्चन पूछा था तब जम्मू कश्मीर एक साथ और स्टेट था, ठीक है. बट देन इन ईदर केस जम्मू कश्मीर, उत्तराखंड, हिमाचल, some part of Punjab, Sikkim, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh. It's not 5 states only. Even if you remove Kashmir today, then also 6 states. Okay, so it's Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh. One doubt with that doubt. In either case, you are not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are not counting Punjab. You are not counting Punjab. Some portions of Punjab are part of Shivalik. Shivalik extends up to Punjab. Will we count Purvanchal too? That is something that I also had doubt. ठीक है, मैंने भी गलत किया था कि करूं कि नहीं करूं. I believe you should count. You should count. अब Great Himalayas पूछ रहा है, मतलब ऐसा should we count or should we not count? That becomes very subjective there. It's better to count because extension of Himalayas ही तो है. They are not called as Great Himalayas, but they are extension of Himalayas. So we'll call them as Himalayas. Okay. In either case, include Punjab also. West Bengal, Western Ghats are spread over 5 states only. 6. Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Right? So you have 6 states. Pulicat is spread over 2 states only. Yes, Pulicat is a lake at the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. At the border of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, if you open your page first only, there only you can see Pulicat Lake. Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu pe. It's not there on page number 11. It is not there on page number 11. It is there probably on page number 25. Page number 25, Lake Pulicat, Sriharikota Island. ठीक है, Sriharikota Island is a bar. Sriharikota Island is a bar. समझ आ रहा है? Bar, barrier bar, sandpit, Tambolo. Remember those? Sriharikota is a bar. So this Pulicat is between Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Right? The answer is what? The answer is 3. Answer is 3. All of you clear? Yes. नहीं, आप पूर्वांचल को भी इंक्लूड करें एक, दूसरा अभी भी 6 स्टेट्स है, पंजाब, हिमाचल, उत्तराखंड, सिक्किम, वेस्ट बंगाल, दार्जिलिंग हिल्स भी 2 UTs, but then my suggestion is also count Purvanchal, which is your Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur. Also count them. ठीक है, नागालैंड, मिजोरम एंड मणिपुर को भी काउंट करो, अरुणाचल तो कर ही रहे हो, इनको भी काउंट करो. ठीक है, सो दिस इज अबाउट, ओके, दिस वी ऑलरेडी सीन. दार्जिलिंग हिल्स, दाफला, मिरी, अबोर, मिश्मी, रेंगमा, पटकाई, नागा, देखा, लाइम अटोल, ईस्टर्न मणिपुर हिल्स, उभान. वी ऑलरेडी सीन दिस hills, right? That completes your physical, that is your peninsular plateau and Himalayas. Here also you can see Mishmi Hills, Mikir Range, Bareil Range. Okay, you have Mizo Hills, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. Okay, so this is about your, and you can see rivers cutting them also. 𝐂𝐭, Subansiri, Dihang, Dibang, Lohit. These are tributaries of what? These are tributaries of Brahma. Manas is also tributary. 𝐂𝐭, Subansiri, Lohit, Dihang, Dibang, others. Okay, now this is something that you can, that is factual, you can read. Patkai is in Arunachal Pradesh, Difu Pass, Monpa Pass. Nagaland में what peak? Sabarmati Peak, Moline National Park. Manipur, Loktak Lake, Meitei Tribe, Laim Atoll Range. You can read. Nokrek Peak is on Nokrek Peak में गारो. खासी जब खासी आती है तो लॉन्ग लेते हैं, तो खासी पे शिलोंग है. ठीक है, तो कुछ ऐसी ट्रिक्स बनाओ और याद करो. ठीक है, मैं कुछ बता रही हूँ, जो मुझे याद है मैं बता रही हूँ. ठीक है, कमला सागर, रुद्र सागर कभी नहीं लगेगा त्रिपुरा में. यू नेवर फील कमला सागर, रुद्र सागर इज इन त्रिपुरा, बट इट्स देयर इन त्रिपुरा. सो रिमेंबर सम, मेक सम ट्रिक्स, रिमेंबर फॉर योरसेल्फ. ठीक है, one thing that is Nokrek is on Garo, Khasi is on Khasi पे शिलोंग है. There's a bamboo drip irrigation. What is bamboo drip irrigation? Bamboo is there in the northeastern state. The trees are used. There are holes that are made. Branches of the trees are used. The holes that are made, and they are used for drip irrigation. A very famous type of irrigation that is used in the northeastern states. So bamboo drip irrigation is where is there in the northeastern state. अगर कुछ आ गया bamboo drip irrigation, no, it's there in the northeastern state. So this is about your northeast. Okay, can you try to attempt this question? Can you try to attempt this question? नहीं try कर सकते? I heard somebody saying no. तुमने तो नहीं बोला, विशाल नहीं बोला होगा, तुमने बोला ना नो, मैं तो बोल रही हूँ. बताओ. मैंने आंसर बताने के लिए थोड़ी बोला, मुझे लगा डाउट है, पता नहीं आंसर है भी कि नहीं है. रुको, ये बोल रहे हैं बी, जरूरी नहीं है. ठीक है, somebody is asking me a question mark. Divya, you are telling me, you are asking me. Sneha, you are telling me, you are asking me. बताओ. Nokrek is on Garo. Nokrek Biosphere Reserve is on Garo. Is it correct? Nokrek Biosphere Reserve, Nokrek Peak is on Garo. One is correct. Loktak Lake and Bareil Range. Loktak is in Manipur. Bareil थोड़ा सा लेफ्ट में, वेस्ट में है. So 2 is wrong. 3, Namdafa and Dafla. Dafla Hills and Namdafla. Namdafa National Park. If I look at Arunachal Pradesh, here you have Dafla Hills and you have Namdafa National Park. Namdafa National Park is to the east. Dafla Hill is to the west. So this is also wrong. This is also wrong. Garo Hills, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. Meghalayan plateau is divided into three. Meghalayan plateau is divided into Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. On Khasi you have Shillongs, on Garo you have Nokrek. Nokrek Biosphere Reserve, Nokrek.